Hi, guys. Well, from beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist,
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, 'tis the season.
Ring, ring, ring.
For...
Do you hear the sleigh bells?
They're ring-ling-dingling.
I don't do sleigh.
Ding-dingling.
So people should put bells on their cars so that we can hear them.
Car bells?
Car bells. Just hear those car bells ringling. Ting, ting, tingling, too.
Ooh, ooh.
It's the holiday season.
'Tis.
And we need to talk about how we, as non-holy day believers,
There are no holy days.
navigate this
Fuck
shit.
you and your holy days.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
bullshit.
Right in
Dan.
your holiday. So yeah, that's
I love it.
we'll have that chat in a minute.
Yeah. Well, Dan,
After the news.
last week we talked about a substitute teacher got herself into a little bit of hot water
Yes, she did.
for telling a bunch of kids that Santa Claus
For lying.
fake.
For lying to school children.
No, actually, she got in trouble for telling the truth
About
to children.
No, because
Which is
she
really-
said that Santa doesn't exist, which is obviously a very clear lie. And Santa,
I think it's problematic that somebody shows poor judgment by telling truth.
yeah, well,
I don't know. There's probably a lot of situations
There's a-
that you don't want to tell
there are
truth.
plenty of truths that you can't just spout to children.
Oh, how we protect them
Yes, indeed.
and their
Their delicate little
oh
minds.
my God, I know. Well, here's an elementary school principal who is on leave.
Oh dear.
After banning Christmas decorations at her school.
Okay,
She was new to the school,
sure.
and she sent around a memo to all the teachers and listed sort of this. She's really just like focusing on decorations and maybe some activities, right?
Sure.
So this is a list of unacceptable items,
Okay.
according to her. Santa,
Oh,
right, on or Christmas items like clip art on worksheets.
okay.
Right, like keep it.
Just keep it business-like.
This is business, right? This is education. Right?
Okay.
This isn't about
Like,
you know,
so far, the concept feels right.
Right.
I know that you're going to hit me with stuff that's not right, but like
Christmas. Yeah,
like saying, "Hey, we are a government entity,
yes,
and we cannot therefore endorse religious
right.
stuff."
Yeah. So you can't no Christmas trees, right?
Okay.
It's Christmas. It is Christmas.
Yeah.
It's in the name, Christmas tree, right?
Yeah, I mean the tree itself is not a Christmas invention, but it has been co-opted by Christmas. So okay, sure.
Elf on the Shelf.
Good, because that's just stupid.
It's stupid. Playing Christmas music.
Yes, okay.
Candy canes. And here's what she says. The shape of the candy cane is a J for Jesus. The red represents his blood. The white symbolizes his resurrection.
Oh my God, she believed some Christian propaganda bullshit.
Yeah.
Because that's not true. But a bunch of Christians have put memes together about it.
They try to glom on to apply their, their apply some symbolism to something that's
because
just a
what
piece
you
of candy.
what you want to think about when you're eating candy is blood.
Ooh. I love the blood. I like the blood more than the resurrection. To
I
be
do
honest.
too. Actually, I like the resurrection, but it's the blood part that really makes it delicious. These letter J's that we're eating.
Red and green items.
Okay,
Can't do it. Can't do it. No reindeer.
Okay.
No Christmas videos, movies, and or Christmas movie characters.
Can you do Frosty?
Well, let's get there.
Okay.
These are a list of acceptable items.
Okay.
I would say you can't do Frosty because he is a movie character, according to this. And it is a Christmas movie, Frosty the Snowman.
Okay.
But it's a very secular one. Do they even talk about Jesus at all?
Well, in the movie, I think they do.
Oh.
I think Santa shows up in the movie.
Well, I think you're right about that. There can't be any Santa.
But
so that's
did
out.
Frosty predate the movie? Did the song predate the movie?
Did Frosty sort of resurrect thanks to the expiation of Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
You don't know.
You don't know.
It is a story of resurrection.
It's about a hat and a person made of snow.
Yeah, but after he melts, he rises again.
Oh,
right.
It's like Aslan in.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a list of acceptable items. Gifts to students. That's okay.
Sure.
Snowmen are okay.
Yeah.
Snowflakes.
Just not that particular snowman.
Yeah, probably not that one.
Snowflakes, great.
Gingerbread people.
Sure.
Sledding.
Yeah.
Hot chocolate.
Great.
Arctic animals.
And a hot toddy, a nice, any sort of boozy sort of nice thing.
Absolutely, the kids love it. Yetis. And Olaf.
Oh, from Frozen.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sad that I know what Olaf is.
And she signed her letter. The, in parentheses, unintentional Grinch Who Stole Christmas. In parentheses again, from Manchester. It was Manchester Elementary School.
Okay.
So the unintentional Grinch Who Stole Christmas from Manchester.
You know what? I'm on board with her. She got the candy cane thing wrong.
Yeah, that one I don't think is a big deal.
But everything else,
it is a very Christmassy symbol.
It's a Christmas specific candy.
Yeah.
You don't ever eat that candy in March.
Exactly. And so, like, I think that maybe she has a case for it being banned, but not for, like,
but she made the wrong argument.
Blood and resurrection crap.
Right. She believed some nonsense that she saw or was told.
Also because
about.
This isn't about that Jesus. This is all about baby Jesus. Right? Christmas is not about the death of Jesus. It's about the birth of Jesus. So why would the candy cane have anything to do?
She's on the wrong timeline altogether.
Yeah, that's Easter, crazy lady.
It's called a candy cane.
Yeah.
Not a candy J.
Yeah. It's a cane. You walk.
Yeah.
That's how do snowmen.
Although I've also been told that it's a shepherd's crook and therefore
now that's but that's what how she should have tied it in.
Yeah, or something. She just she just believed something that may be a more prevalent belief than I know. Cuz I know those evangelicals love that kind of shit. They
nuts.
Eat that shit up.
They really, really are. No pun intended.
For breakfast.
Anywho, the school district has completely 100% disavowed her and this policy.
It's a good policy.
No, dear God, no. Elkhorn Public Schools.
She's correct.
Has addressed the issue at Manchester Elementary School regarding the memo that was sent by the principal. This is an official statement.
Is this Manchester, England?
No.
Manchester where?
Ohio.
Oh.
Not Ohio. Nebraska.
Oh, well, Nebraska, you're going to lose that fight. The heartland.
Yeah, I know. It's
if it were Manchester in New York or Manchester, Connecticut, she might win that battle.
Like we kind of, we're poking some fun and everything, but like this principal's right.
She's right.
She's absolutely 100% right.
She's doing it correctly.
Yeah. And in a way that still allows there to be some fun and some seasonal stuff that people are going to get to enjoy. Like, if you go into one of those classrooms and there's a snowman on the board and some snowflakes.
Every kid has cut out a bunch of snowflakes and they're all over the place.
Sleds everywhere. Nobody's going to think that it's not festive and of the season.
Right.
It's just it doesn't have specifically religious symbols.
Right. It's just that the Jewish and the Muslim kid and the atheist kid don't feel left out.
Right.
They're all included.
They all get some hot chocolate.
Everyone can go sledding.
Right.
Provided there is snow.
Sure. And if not, there's just a kid on a sled on a bulletin board.
Right.
Woo!
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the correct way to do it.
Right.
Although, yeah. If she hadn't, the candy cane things, that's the real bugaboo right there. She fucked it up.
Yeah, I know.
She fucked it up. All right, I'm moving on. Taking us to Indonesia, where a new app is going to help maintain law and order.
Like a phone app?
An app on everybody's phone.
Okay. Okay.
Available apparently on Google Play. Which I looked for and could not find. P.S. I thought I found it, but I do not read the Indonesian / Malay language, and so I was incorrect about it.
Oh, okay.
Anywho,
why isn't it in English?
Right?
Isn't that the official language of apps?
It's the official language of the world. Should be default. Anyway, this app called the what is it called? It's called Smart Pakem. I don't know what that means.
Okay, all right.
But it is a handy-dandy, easy-to-use, user-friendly way to report your friends and neighbors for heresy and blasphemy.
Oh, good.
They wanted to make sure that they could make it as easy as possible, because before it was this labor-intensive, like paper.
Call a number.
You have to fill out a form.
Police reports
to just to report your neighbor for
God.
Blasphemy.
Yeah.
As you know, Indonesia has the largest Muslim population in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And they are cranky about any form of blasphemy, even the practicing of non-approved religions. They have a short list of religions that it's okay to be. Spoiler alert, we're not on that list.
Atheists?
Atheists,
no.
So
really?
I don't think so. So yes,
you can't just not practice.
The religions.
Come on.
I mean, you got your Islam, your Hinduism, your Christianity, and your Buddhism. I don't know. I don't know if you can be an atheist there or not.
You probably can't claim you're an atheist. Clearly,
Well, you shouldn't.
yeah.
Just anything that can even catch a whiff that it sounds like you're doing something against Islam.
Oh God,
You can go to jail for that.
You just breathe incorrectly.
Yeah.
And you've insulted.
If you sneeze and it
Allah.
sounds like you said the words Allah or Muhammad, you're going to go to jail. Muhammad. Oh, excuse me.
And you don't then say peace be upon him.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh.
So yes, they're ratting out.
They are arming their citizenry.
Yeah.
Is this app like required to be on all phones? Is this like
no, it's not required. It's just
be
available and easy.
If they want to do this right, phones have to come with the app pre-installed. Right. Heresy alert.
I actually was so incensed by this that I went to Google Play and I found their little place where you can report apps that are problematic. Mm-hmm. I couldn't really. The problem was that I couldn't find the app, so I linked to the article that I found about the app, and I just said, and I linked to an app that I thought was it because I looked at the reviews, and all of the reviews in English were like, "This app is terrible. It's gonna cause problems for people because innocent people, this is human rights violations stuff."
Yeah.
So and I found this thing. And so I reported that app, and then I went back and looked at more. And as I went down the list of other people of reviews, there was one review that was like, "Hey, idiots, this isn't that app, you morons. This is an agricultural something or other."
But it's going to do so much harm.
Right. So, I mean...
they were also upset.
But it was the first thing that comes up when you Google that app.
Oh, okay.
Or when you do that search. So I don't know how to find the app. I don't know how to report the app.
Yeah.
But I tried.
Right.
I ended up reporting the wrong app.
Dan.
But hopefully they get enough reports that they seek out the correct app. I don't
somebody who can read Indonesian.
Yeah. Exactly.
Holy crap.
And if you can read Indonesian, God, if you're listening to this show in Indonesia, run away. But if you are there, go to Google, go to another country and then go to Google and report that app. Because they need to be. That literally is like an app enabling a country to commit human rights violations. So maybe Google shouldn't be supporting the app.
Oh, come on, Google.
Don't you psh me.
Well, I mean, they've been helping the Chinese government out.
I know.
With some of their nonsense. So
I know.
Not my favorite company these days.
Yeah.
I thought they were the hope of the future, but they aren't.
Well, they're the hope of some people's future.
Yeah. All right, Dan.
Yeah.
I've got a story about. It'll come as no surprise that the Trump administration is kowtowing once again to the far right. This time, it's anti-abortion activists who are getting some help and some love.
Oh, thank goodness.
From the Donald.
Those people, they're the real victims.
Oh, it's just the worst. Well, the Trump administration is has ended one particular study, at least, and there's probably more, that are looking for a cure for HIV.
Oh,
they use fetal tissue in their research and their testing of new drugs that are coming out.
Right.
The fetal tissue is implanted into mice. And this, unfortunately, has completely stopped one lab's all their work to discover a cure for HIV. They really don't have alternatives at this moment.
Yeah. I mean, that's
even though the anti-abortion people say there are other ways of conducting this research, but the scientific community is like, please show us.
Yeah, really? I'm glad you think so. We'll listen to you.
Yeah. If you have a scientific method.
Because we're scientists, and this is the most promising thing we've got.
Yeah.
So maybe you can show us how to pray about it, and it will go away.
Yeah. The shutdown of the HIV research at the federal lab. There's a federal lab up in Montana that's like they do work. What is it called?
It's called baby killing. That's what it's called.
Anyway, it's a National Institute of Health laboratory in Montana. Initially the shutdown was never disclosed publicly, and it has never been disclosed publicly by government officials,
right?
Who have forbidden affected researchers from discussing what happened.
Of course, they have.
And however, their colleagues outside of the NIH are incensed by this action, and they're taking up the cause and kind of trying to spread the word that this happened.
Blow on the whistle.
Warner Green, who was director of the Gladstone Institute of Virology and Immunology, he says this is scientific censorship at its worst. Let me get to the next page. You spend your life trying to do good experiments and organize your science carefully, and suddenly, at the whim of some politicians in Washington, D.C., they remove a critical piece of your scientific armamentarium.
Oh.
Isn't that a word? People are because there's so little information at this point. They don't know how far-reaching it is, but there is a general assumption that all NIH research of this kind is being shut down, and it's really only research. There may be sort of a loophole for non-government labs to continue that are being funded by the federal government to be able to continue this work.
Yeah.
But for the time being, they've all been banned from using fetal. Well, this one for sure confirmed has been banned from using fetal tissue, and I think.
And this is tissue that's gathered probably mostly from like unused fertilized eggs or whatever, or is it?
No, elective abortions.
Okay,
is where it comes from.
Great.
And
I mean, if they've already been aborted, might as well use them. Put them to work. Put them to use.
Well, yeah, this is like using organs for when somebody dies.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This can't be used by a human being. So use it for this. Yeah. Use it for some other good.
And just another way that religion is, it clouds everyone's thinking.
Yeah.
That's not a person. Look,
if you think of a fetus, you were going the same place I'm about.
Look, and the truth is, even if you object to abortion, until that's illegal, like go ahead and do the fight for it to be illegal. But like while it's happening, why don't we get what good we can out of it?
Well, because they might benefit. They might someday be saved by research that
this
was
is
based
saying.
on a baby, Dan, a baby being murdered.
Yeah, but get some good out of that horrible, indecent, awful, murderous act.
No, I mean, no. In their minds, that would be saying that like the Nazi doctors' research should be used from back in the scientific community has specifically not looked at. I forget the doctor's name, but they were doing research, on live people,
right?
Who were Jewish and in concentration camps.
Yeah,
they don't. You don't. We collectively, our collective morality says you can't use that research, and so
that's just stupid.
And so of
course you use that research.
And so
it's body of knowledge,
and so it's the exact same thing in their mind. Yeah. It would be the equivalent
because there is a Holocaust going on, Frank.
But see, that's the thing. That is what's going on in their minds.
Baby Holocaust happening.
Yeah. Because we hate babies.
Because
we hate them, Dan.
Right. It's not about...
It's a war on babies.
Let me tell you what it's about. It's about killing babies for fun. That's what this whole abortion thing is all about.
Sport shooting. Absolutely.
Pull.
Yeah. As long as they're less than 2 months old, the Bible doesn't have a problem with it.
The Bible, they should be the ones on board.
Yeah.
The Bible actually has recipes for abortions.
Yeah.
That's a true thing.
Yeah.
Look it up. The recipe for a priest to give an abortion.
Great. How does it work?
It's like a potion.
A little dash of this.
Yeah, you literally do a potion. This is if a woman. Here's what it is. If you think she cheated on you and she's pregnant, then you go to the priest. He whips up a cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember where this is. Deuteronomy? I want to say Deuteronomy. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, he whips up a cocktail. You make her drink it.
Mm.
If she aborts, great.
Right.
She cheated on you.
Oh.
And then and you don't have to deal with some other man's baby.
Okay.
If she doesn't abort, great, it's yours, and everybody's happy.
What about if she dies? Isn't that a possibility here?
Probably. But then you
and that's just what oopsies.
Then it's a wash. Then it's all a wash.
She cheated on you, and the Lord done judged her.
The Lord determined that it was time for her to go.
Right. It's no longer in your hands here. He decided.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating, Dan.
Mm-hmm. Huh. I mean, this is the correct course of action according to the Bible.
Right.
Yeah.
But the conservative Christians.
So the Bibles
don't believe that.
The Bible, at least in that circumstance, totally pro-abortion.
Well, they don't. They're not going to take that, Dan.
They're not.
They're not
because because everyone who believes in the Bible believes in some of the passages of the Bible and not other passages of the Bible. Every last one of them has picked and choosed, or else they just haven't read the damn thing. Anyway, which is more often the case. I'm going to take us to, a lovely expose coming out of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, I think.
Oh.
This is a Texas newspaper and they've done an incredible series of articles about sexual abuse in fundamentalist Baptist churches across the U.S. and in Canada.
Oh.
And even though it's not as centralized as the Catholic Church,
right,
they're pulling the same fucking playbook.
What?
So
like moving ministers around type thing?
100%.
No.
They did an in-depth study. They discovered at least 400 allegations of sexual misconduct.
Oh my God.
In 187 different independent fundamental Baptist churches and their affiliated institutions. And they they discovered a very clear system of shuffling these men around.
Oh my God.
So literally it's the fucking same thing all over. They they are so afraid of their institution looking bad that they don't do the right thing. And even when they sometimes do the right thing, they found examples of times when someone would be abusive, it would get reported first to the church, and then the church, sometimes it would get reported even to Child Protective Services. And even then, because it's in, an area where everybody's a fundamentalist, if oh, well, he really is sorry, he's repented.
Right.
Boom, just get him out of there and move him to another county.
Oh my God.
Or another place. It is happening all over the country, and in Canada. I guess the whole thing is that you can't just say that this isn't just a Catholic thing.
No.
And it's not, Mormons have a very centralized thing like the Catholics. I'm guessing we're going to have a pretty big explosion at some point of something similar, of cover-ups.
Perhaps.
It's got to come, because this kind of thing definitely happens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we already know of a couple cases that they covered up.
Right. But, I mean, that are high-profile cases.
They were individual high-profile cases. What the Mormon Church hasn't had yet is at the congregation level, and it's widespread.
Right. Someone needs to do this type of expose.
Yeah.
And put in the work. They've done years worth of work on this thing.
Wow.
Or months and months and months. They talk about a 15-year-old girl in North Carolina who was molested by a music minister and then just moved to another church in Florida. Another girl's parents had her parents stood in front of their Connecticut congregation to acknowledge their daughter's sin after she was abused by her pastor.
Oh, my God. What?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah. This is and the church consistently shielding these men.
It does seem to be a fundamental truth about organizations, which is they will, more than anything else that you can predict about their behavior, they will protect themselves at all costs.
And the way that they think they protect themselves, and this is what's baffling to me.
Yeah.
Because to my mind, the way I protect my institution is by getting rid of them, is by saying, this man was bad, and we disavow.
Right.
That's how you protect your institution. That's how you say, this shit happened.
But the player is a part of that institution.
Right.
And so you protect that person as well.
To their mind, it reflects so badly on them that they just shuffle it away.
Yeah.
That they make sure that nobody hears it, or as few people hear about it as possible.
Well, and to be fair, because there have been so few reported cases, the general population and the people who are actually probably even doing a lot of this don't even understand how widespread the problem actually is.
Right.
And that they're perpetrating a real problem. It's their instinct to just say, this guy, he's a good guy, and this is the patriarchy working as well. He's a good guy, he's a good man, he's a good family man. He just has this problem. We're just going to get him out of here. He's learned his lesson. He's told us this will never happen again.
He repented and prayed to God. God has forgiven him. Why can't you?
What business is it of the government to ruin this man's life needlessly? This is what they'll say.
This is what they say.
Right.
And they don't say it to the government. What they say it to is the victim.
Yeah.
They say, you need to forgive this man.
Yeah.
The Lord's forgiven him. You need to forgive him.
Right.
You need to find it in your heart to be like Jesus.
Right.
And not ruin this good man's life.
Right.
And his family. He's got a good family. He's got a wife and children that he supports. Do you want to ruin their lives too?
Yeah. And so what will be interesting is to see what the congregations, how they respond to this. What will they do now?
Yeah.
Now that it's out in the open, now that it's been exposed, are they going to bury their head in the sand collectively? Right? And just say, well, it's not a problem with the institution. It's not a problem with this idea of ministers having this position in the community that's so like they got to bring these men down a notch. They have to there's got to be some fundamental changes, or else the problem will continue to happen.
They have to put procedures
Yes.
in place that are solid and that are immutable to get these guys not only out of harm's way, to not only so that they can't commit these crimes again, because they do almost inevitably. Right. If they've done it here, they're going to do it there.
They will do it elsewhere. Yeah.
And so, like, you can't just send them away.
Yeah. So will the Baptists learn as an institution? I guess that's my bigger question, because that's what's important now.
And we have some history to instruct us on this. And no, they won't learn.
No, they won't.
They're not going to learn.
They probably will not learn.
Nope.
Yeah. All right, Dan.
I mean, if there's one thing we can say about people who believe in a 2,000-year-old book and haven't changed it for hundreds of years, they don't learn. They don't want to learn. They don't want to change.
Right.
They want things to stay the same.
Right.
And you got to drag them kicking and screaming. Like, just to make them stop enslaving other humans, you got to drag them kicking and screaming. Just to make them be decent to other people.
Well, Salt Lake County.
It's the county in which we live.
It is, right here in the middle, not in the middle of Utah, northern Utah.
Sure.
This might come as a surprise to people outside of Utah. Probably not much of a surprise if you live here.
Right.
But it is good news nonetheless. Salt Lake County is now minority Mormon. Officially.
We made it.
We've made it. 5 counties in Utah are now minority Mormon.
5?
We're the 5th.
Yep. I'm shocked.
Yeah. Salt Lake
Summit
just joined with Carbon.
Oh, what?
Uh-huh.
Down in southern Utah?
Price. Yeah.
Really?
Yep. San Juan.
Okay.
Summit, of course.
Yeah.
Which has the second lowest.
That's Park City.
Uh-huh. And then Grand.
I don't know Grand County.
I don't know what Grand is either. But it's about, Grand is only like 25% total population Mormon. Now, these are the hard numbers that the LDS Church reports, right? These are numbers that the LDS Church releases to the state of Utah to help with basically population, like developing population estimates for, development issues.
So the actual number is even
our
lower.
Growth a little bit better. So because that's the number they're reporting, there's a Mormon demographer, sort of, he's independent. Where was he? He is using basically that 50% thing to adjust that number. He's saying that the true number is probably around 24%.
50%? He's saying that, like...
That are, like, true believers and that attend on either a regular or semi-regular basis.
So he's saying that fewer than 50% of the church's reported people, or about half, aren't Mormons. Or aren't true believers.
You got to kind of filter them out. They're going to be some shade of gray with regards to their belief.
Because the Mormons will count anybody who was baptized at age 8 and hasn't specifically gone to them and said, I want to remove my name from the rolls.
Yeah, so their numbers are always very inflated.
Right.
And don't really reflect reality. Salt Lake City, Martinich is this guy's name, the independent LDS demographer, Matt Martinich, has estimated that about 40% of Latter-day Saints in the United States are in sort of what the Mormons would refer as active.
Okay. Only 40%?
Only 40%.
Holy cow.
He guesses that roughly half of Salt Lake County's members go to church, or roughly 24% of the county's population. He's been tracking congregations worldwide and believes the data seen in Utah matches what he's seen elsewhere. He says Salt Lake County has become increasingly more diverse. Housing has become more expensive, and the church has overall really struggled in urban areas.
Yeah.
And as Salt Lake becomes more urban
and diverse
the church will continue to struggle here.
I'm pretty sure we have like 7 black guys now. So,
you know what? I have to say, it has shifted. I was at the supermarket the other night, and I was like, there are 2 black couples shopping in this grocery store right now.
Oh my God.
This is unbelievable.
No, it's a very white place, but I'm
being serious. There legitimately were, and then of course there's the mix of Hispanics, and because it's near-ish the university, there's also a lot of Asians, and no, they're clearly foreign students, right?
No, Salt Lake City is slowly or rapidly by our standards, like becoming less white. So that's nice. That's actually we're actually getting a little bit of demography.
Well, wrap your head around this statistic, Dan.
Okay.
This year, more ethnic minorities started kindergarten than white kids in Salt Lake County.
Wow. Well, great.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are some very, very interesting statistics that are starting to come out about our little home. Those of you who understand the speak, this will be a strange one for you. Martinich says we'll probably see 5 to 10 stakes discontinued.
The stake is like a diocese,
right? In the old areas of Salt Lake County in the next 5 years or so.
Oh yeah, they are hemorrhaging.
10 stakes. So what? But what's happening?
They're closing down and consolidating.
Right.
So many churches.
There's a couple different phenomenons that are happening. One is you have sort of the rise of the ex-Mormon movement, and people are learning more about the church, and they stop going to church. This is, however, while it is a growing group of people, it's still a relatively small number compared to the church, membership on a whole in the state, right? But what you have is you're still seeing Mormons moving down to Utah County, right?
Oh, interesting.
Or to South Jordan, right? There's still sort of a Mormon. They actually refer to it as like a Mormon ethnic community down in South Jordan and in the Riverton area, right?
Like Mormons. God.
In terms of the people who do this kind of research, they actually identify them as an ethnic group because of the way that they coalesce and live in neighborhoods and the way that they interact in their neighborhoods.
Easily identifiable by their bad shoes and their T-shirts.
They're not actually saying that they are a true ethnic community.
T-shirts under their spaghetti strap dresses.
Right. Anyway, but they've sort of grouped into that southwest corner of the valley.
Yeah.
Right. And so Mormons will move there, or they'll move south into Utah County, completely out of Salt Lake County.
Toward Provo.
And that's why we're seeing this massive shift. But what's happening, and you can only imagine that as the Mormons are moving out of some of these neighborhoods, the ones that are staying are probably the people who are just like, well, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, now all my neighbors aren't Mormon anymore. I love these people across the street who, I don't even know what they are, but, they're cool, and I like those people over there. And then now these are the people who don't even go to church anymore.
Right.
Right. So I think it's this weird shift is probably making it easier for a lot of people to leave the church.
Can I tell you the true tragedy of all of this? It's getting to the point where even the gerrymandering that they did before is not working very well. Because, one of the good gerrymandered districts just elected a Democrat.
It was an R+13 district. However, that wasn't so much an election of a Democrat as it was a complete and utter hatred of the Republican who was there.
Well,
people really truly did not like Mia Love.
Well, let's not go down the rabbit hole of local politics. But yes, it was
right. Like,
I was just trying to make a joke, Frank. I'm just trying to have some fun here, Frank. I'm not trying to get into a thing about Mia Love and
Ben McAdams.
Ben McAdams.
Well,
current new upcoming.
Yeah, and that's also interesting. Mormon.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's right. You need if you want to elect a Democrat into a national thing, he's got to at least be a Mormon as a Utahn.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to take us finally to a Catholic school in Torrance, California, the St. James Catholic School, where unfortunately they done got embezzled. Mm-hmm. They're not going to sue, though, because you remember how we were talking about how they protect their own?
Oh, boy.
This is a little bit delightful. Apparently, 2 nuns who recently retired confessed that they embezzled about $500,000, probably more,
right,
from this school to do the various things. But at least one of the things that they used it for was a great trip to Vegas where they gambled away a shit ton of this money. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, you got to love nuns at the poker table. Don't you bluff me. You know the Lord is watching, right?
Well, this is a whole scene in Sister Act, for crying out loud.
Right? Yeah.
You know? Whoopi Goldberg uses that to her advantage.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
They release a bunch of nuns on a casino.
Do they?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
When was the last time you saw Sister Act, Dan?
The year it came out?
No.
Why would I continue? Why would I watch that again?
Because it's one of the greatest movies of all time.
Okay. Fair enough. It's so much fun.
It is such ridiculous fun.
Yeah.
That movie.
Okay. Well, it's true. It's all true. That's what we're getting to.
Wow, I love it. So those nuns watched Sister Act, got a bad idea.
They were like, "Hey, you know what would be fun? I want to know. I bet they spent it on hookers and blow. I'm gonna guess they were snorting cocaine off of some hot-bodied, Chippendale dancer.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
You know,
a grand old time.
if you're gonna go rogue,
Yeah.
if you're gonna go dark, go hard.
Oh yeah.
Just get yourself, just do it all the way.
Don't mess around.
No.
If you're going to hell, you might as well go to hell.
You might as well do. Hey, you know what'll happen? You repent. Boom, absolved.
Maybe.
Might as well have some fun.
Be doing Hail Marys for the rest of your life, but
They were doing it before anyway.
yeah, that's true.
They're nuns. So yeah, like I said, that $500,000 figure is the low end. That was just what they could find in the books.
Oh dear
That
God.
did not include like any cash donations or whatever. I'm sure these ladies were just stuffing those directly in their habits.
No.
Yeah. So like I say, the church, it's funny because the school reported this to the authorities, but then declined to pursue it legally. They declined to pursue legal action.
What?
So they're not seeking any retribution. They're just gonna let it go.
Nice. Well done.
Which if I were, I wouldn't be mad about, except that like donation, like this took education, like this were funds to educate children, and people were giving donations to this school for the purposes of educating the children.
This is a truly bizarre story. What is wrong with these nuns?
Nothing. They're doing it right.
Oh God, that's hysterical.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? The nuns expressed remorse apparently, and yeah, they're going to leave it at that. So I think the key here is, we talked about how these institutions protect their own. If you want to do something horrible, join up.
If you have a specific goal,
you can't just join the church. You got to get into the ministry.
Yeah,
you got to get in there. Good.
Yeah.
You got to get your tentacles in to all of the places.
Well, and that's what's bizarre to me, is that it always seems like the general membership, right? Mm-hmm. What percentage is just naturally inclined to just look the other way?
Yeah.
Right? And you hear the bad thing and you're just like, oh, well, the church is forgiving them. Who am I?
Right. The Lord is forgiving them.
Yeah.
Can't I just follow the example of the Lord?
Right.
Of God, his damn self?
Right.
I will follow the Jesus.
Yeah.
And be okay with this embezzlement.
Good Lord. All right.
Oh, well, if you want to embezzle something and you want to tell us about it, go ahead and write to us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Indeed. Hey, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group, but we will let you in. Also, check us out on Reddit. Search for our subreddit. It's TGI Atheist.
Indeed.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, yeah.
'Tis the time on TGIA to listen to someone on the far right, the conservative, religious right.
And it's mostly just religious.
Religious nut jobs.
The nut jobs of the religious world.
And so we're going to listen in on E.W. Jackson. And he's upset because we have Muslims in Congress now.
He's a radio host.
Yeah.
And you know, we've talked about it. There's going to be, you know, there was a rule against wearing any kind of headgear on the floor of the House, and now we got Muslims in there that want to wear their hijabs, so they're looking to change the rules.
What if you had braces? What would you? You were a member of Congress, like
not the kind of headgear we're talking about, Franklin. So yes, our friend EW just cannot. He simply cannot.
All right.
Folks, I'm still trying to get over this whole issue of Nancy Pelosi allowing these women, this Muslim women, and apparently other women in Congress are now going to start, if this movement takes root, are going to start wearing the hijab on the floor of Congress. So what are we now going to do? We're going to turn Congress into an institution of Sharia law. I mean, folks, this stuff is just crazy. Let me shake that. I mean, that's. Oh boy, Lord help us. I'm E.W. Jackson, your host here on Urban Family Talk. The number's 866-963-2037. I would love to hear from you. What do you think about that, as a matter of fact? Apparently a bunch of women right now, they're planning to wear hijabs in honor of this newly elected woman who is a Muslim, in order to recognize and support her, and, you know, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you know, and this is also in part going to be, what is this woman's name? Omar. Representative-elect Omar. I'll get her full name here in a second, but yeah, well, the floor of Congress is now going to look like it's going to look like an Islamic Republic. I mean, really? Man. You know, we are a Judeo-Christian country. We are a nation rooted and grounded in Christianity. And that's that. And if anybody doesn't like that, go live somewhere else. I mean, it's very simple, right? Just go live somewhere else. Don't try to change our country into some sort of Islamic republic, or try to base our country on Sharia law. And that is not an Islamophobic statement. I'm not afraid of Islam. I don't agree with Islam. But that aside, this is a Judeo-Christian country. This is a country that's rooted and grounded and based on the Old and New Testament scriptures. That's the root, that's the foundation, that's the basis for the existence of this constitutional republic. And we're not allowing Sharia law to become the basis of our culture, our laws, or anything else. I'm serious about that. We're just not going to have it. We're simply not going to have it. Because let me just say this to you, and I didn't intend to get into this, but that's what happens when you play spots like that. And I'm listening, waiting to do my program, and I hear that stuff. Look, folks, the threat to humanity is not merely radical Islam. The threat to humanity is Islam, period. That's right. I said it and I mean it.
He said it and he means it, Dan.
He means it. Here's the thing.
I don't doubt him that he means it.
I'll bet you that if you just sort of went for the basic tenets of Sharia law, and you didn't use that word, you said Christian law, we want to implement this as Christian law, he would be on board.
Absolutely.
Because they are relatively indistinguishable except for minor like specifics of like how you punish, like in Sharia, maybe you punish theft by cutting off a hand instead of but whatever. They're opposed to theft. They're opposed to women making choices, which is pretty
basic Christianity.
Yeah,
sure.
Like all of the things that pretty much everything in Sharia law lines up, except for like you don't get to blaspheme the prophet. But if you say you can't say mean things about Jesus, if you just replace the prophet with Jesus,
right?
Oh boy, they'd love it.
Yeah,
they'd love Sharia law. It would be their favorite.
Oh,
this is my favorite
10.
law.
Top 10.
Love it. So, but yeah, he's not having it.
Well, he knows what this is really gearing up for.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
You can't have women wearing hijabs on the floor of the of the Congress,
the U.S. House of Representatives.
Cannot.
No. By the way, the woman that he is thinking of is Ilhan Omar.
Oh, okay.
Who is a newly elected member of the House of Representatives from Minnesota's fabled 5th District.
Nice. So
there you go. It's a terror, this Islam.
Oh.
Don't be fooled, everybody.
Yeah,
much worse than Christianity.
There are more hijabs coming.
And of course, this country is based on Christianity.
Judeo-Christianity.
That's right. Well, only Judeo. You throw a bone to the Judeo because we still use the Old Testament.
Right.
But really not the Jews. Not them either.
Yeah.
Just Christians. Only Christians count. Only Christians count. That'll be on the red hats for Trump's next.
Only Christians count?
Yeah, for the re-election bid. It'll just say only Christians count.
Yeah.
OCC.
That'd be...
There you go.
That's rough.
We had some folks write into us.
Yeah.
Got some stuff. I like this one. This one is from Claire, who writes, Dear Frank and Dan, I was a Catholic until 8 years ago. I'm 57 now and have been happily atheist since 49. Congratulations.
Wow.
In 2014-15, I became disabled and was in a nursing rehab for 3 months. That's less congratulations for that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Anyway, there was a lovely African-American patient there recovering from a heart attack. She often carried her King James Bible around with her. She got the bad news that a grandnephew had died suddenly in his teens, and she was badly shaken up by it. Even though I was an atheist at the time, to comfort her, I pointed out the following quote from the Book of Wisdom, chapter 4, verse 7 through 15. It's often read at Catholic funerals where a person has died young, even if they die from suicide. And I'm not going to read the whole quote, but it says, The upright, though he die before his time, will find rest. Length of days is not what makes the age honorable, nor number of years the true measure of their life. And I think that's a nice thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is following on the heels of me shocked at learning that
there are other books in the Bible.
That there are multiple Bible books that I was not even aware of in Bibles that Catholics still use to this day.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. I was woefully uninformed. Anyway, she goes on. I handed this quote to this sweet old lady saying that when my grandniece had died at age 9 months, I had read it at her funeral. After she read it, she remarked how beautiful it was and said she had never read the quote before. What part of the Bible was it from? I explained about the whole Catholic Protestant Bible thing and how the Catholic Bible had these extra books, which had been cut from the Protestant Bibles. I swear she turned pale and handed the quote back to me with a shaking hand, thanking me, and then she quickly wheeled out of the dining hall in her wheelchair.
Oh, no.
It was obvious to me that she had never heard that there were different Bibles. Isn't there only one Bible, the King James Bible? Why had no one told her this? What kind of hellscape universe had she just entered? I had really rocked her religious world. I swear I didn't mean to. From Claire. Oh,
Claire, love that.
Claire, why are you ruining nice old ladies' lives? Why are you doing it, Claire? It's so mean. Well, my world was certainly rocked when I found out about it.
Yeah,
but for different reasons.
Dan left the room. He for days.
I was shook. In the parlance of the kids.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, I've got a little voicemail, Dan.
Play it.
Let's see. Oh, this has to do with like holiday displays.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, let's just be fair or be real about this. Christmas displays that towns and cities put on public grounds.
They're so beautiful.
And Scott, I believe, is responding to, I think this might be related to one of the stories that we brought up, but it's a nice update nonetheless.
Yeah.
Dan, Frank, this is Scott from Connecticut. I just heard on the radio that the town of Bethel that did not want to give the atheists their holiday banner or what so. They just did. My local NPR station said that they had to give the atheists their own space because they already had a nativity. So they're going to have a banner that says to the town folks of Bethel and the surrounding communities, Happy Holidays from your friendly neighborhood atheists. Thanks for a great show. Have a good day. Bye.
I love it. And I love the message of that on that banner.
Yeah.
You know, it's not we're stomping on the rest of you and your tradition.
Right.
It's just joining in and reminding people that there are atheists in their community too, and they'd like to wish you a happy holidays too.
Right. And yeah, although what's hilarious about this is that the message is so kind. And I actually looked it up. It says, Happy holiday season, whatever you celebrate.
Oh yeah.
From your friendly atheist neighbors.
Uh-huh.
So completely, there's no way to interpret that as anything offensive. Just nice. But the phrase Happy Holidays and the word atheist will make plenty of Christians feel attacked.
Oh, this is definitely war on Christmas.
This is war on This is oppression of Christians yet again in these United States. They're oppressing us with their existence and well wishes.
Yeah.
How dare they? Oh, the silly, silly people.
God.
We have another email, this time from Devin. This is in reference to we talked about missionary work, and we talked about the ding dong that went to that island in India, and
John Allen Chow
got himself killed. Hey, Frank and Dan, I recently listened to your episode on the ethics of missionary work and was reminded of one of my experiences from the year leading up to me leaving the church. I grew up in the Mennonite church, and we had a huge focus on international missions, specifically to, quote, unpreached people.
Oh, okay.
Dangerous territory, kids.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I had a part-time gig as a worship leader and went on a trip to Istanbul to help put on a conference for our missionaries working in the Muslim world. One afternoon, we were looking after the missionaries' kids while they were in a session, and we were doing a Sunday school kind of Q&A, the kind where every answer is Jesus. We asked some questions like, what is the most important thing to do as a Christian? Expecting a Sunday school answer like love God or love others. But instead, this little girl, maybe 7 or 8, stood up and replied, to be willing to die for our faith. Well, that hit me like a punch to the gut. I realized immediately that was exactly what being Christian meant in the parts of the world that their parents were evangelizing in. Evangelizing people in some of those countries wasn't saving them or helping them. It was a death sentence.
Wow.
I told this story to the rest of my conference team, and they were elated at the dedication of someone so young. They were elated that even if converting people in that part of the world meant that they could be killed for their conversion, at least they would die knowing Jesus and their souls would be saved. Not one of them questioned whether there was a better way to help people in these countries, or even if they needed our help. And not one of them questioned whether it was ethical to put children's lives on the line for the sake of their faith.
Wow.
This didn't lead directly to me leading the church, but it was one of my biggest moments of doubt that the church was a force for good or right in the world. I still lose sleep thinking about those missionaries' kids.
Wow.
Yeah, Devin, that's some hardcore shit right there.
That's fucked up.
It's not okay.
What people do to their kids.
Yeah, I mean, I remember being a believer. I mean, especially as a dramatic teenager, thinking, "Oh, wouldn't it be? It would, I would totally die for my church.
Yeah,
I would totally die for it."
Right.
That's it. P.S. That's an idiotic thing to do.
Well, I remember there being like something about like the time will, in the last days there will come the moment where you either have to deny Christ,
Oh.
or die.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. That's in Revelation.
Yeah.
It's like it's there.
And I remember that being like asked and whispered and circled around and blah 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 and like in Sunday school, and like it was a thing that you think even like the kids kind of were obsessing about this idea. And and it was just like, and it was really fucked up. And I remember just sitting there thinking and being like, well, I don't want to die.
Right. Why am I being put in this position?
This can't truly be an either or.
This is a really stupid thing to do. Yeah, oh my goodness. Here's an interesting little insight. Mm-hmm. My in-laws were over, and the churchiest among them was excited because apparently, no, this wasn't even the churchiest of them. This was one of the churchy ones. They're all churchy.
Right.
They're all Mormon.
Right.
And apparently Elder Oaks had gone to had done a temple dedication out there, and he's one of the top dogs of this church.
Yeah.
And he had, there were a couple of kids helping with the cornerstone or whatever, and they're dedicating the temple. And he had said something about this young generation representing the generation that was going to fight in the millennium or whatever. And now there's a whole group of Mormons that are obsessing over, we know when the final days are happening. This generation is going to be the final day generation. They're going to do the thing.
How is this possible? Have they never heard every single generation of Mormon prophets saying exactly the same thing?
Somebody always says it.
There's always somebody saying this is the generation that will welcome Christ back to the earth.
And it's like amount of willpower that it took for me not to say that to them, not to say, that this has happened all the time, right? That your generation was called out as that, and your grandparents' generation was called out as that, and everybody's generation is the last generation.
I
know. Anyway, there you go. That's just how religion works these days. Hey, do we have some folks that we need to be thanking?
Oh, do we, Dan?
What?
Do we ever?
Now, I'm going to remind our listeners that this is the month to start.
Right.
If you're going to be doing this, we are doing our fund drive for the FUFRF. We're going to have a representative of the Freedom from Religion Foundation on the show, I think, next week. Because y'all, now is the time. It is such important work that they do. So we are giving 20% of all of our take for the month to the Freedom from Religion Foundation. So these people have jumped on.
Yeah.
They're helping out.
And so I need to thank 2 new faithful listeners.
Okay.
We have Donald and Foot-Seeking Lego Missile.
Woo! Wow.
Thank you very much. We have 2 new venerable listeners.
Okay.
Zachariah and Kristen.
Praise be.
So thank you guys so much.
Amazing.
And we have 2 new beatified listeners, Todd and Annette.
Well, praise the Lord and pass the cheese. That's amazing. You guys have all, you are not only giving to us to help our little program progress, But you're also, you're a bunch of your money is going to go to the Freedom from Religion Foundation, and help them out. So good causes all around.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for your donations. If you want to be a donor, if now's the time. If you've been thinking about it, dive in. Literally, it couldn't go to a better cause. So go to thankgodimatheist.com and click that donate button.
Right.
Jump onto the Patreon, become a patron.
Yep.
Of whom we have one more.
Yeah, we have very
special.
important. Our top donor, our Lord and Savior, Jenny.
She's the best. We love you, Jenny, and we love all of you. Thanks so much for your kind, generous donations.
Thank you. Dan.
Yes, sir.
'Tis the season for religious holidays.
Yeah.
Lots of clinging on religious holidays. Because it's the winter solstice, right?
Sure.
That's what the pagans were all about. That's what they liked.
Right.
But the Christians needed their
Here's
slice.
the thing. It gets so dark up in this northern hemisphere.
Right.
And the further north you get, the worse it gets.
Right.
The darker it gets.
Sure.
And so here we are. We're just trying to get by.
Right.
And you need some joy in your life.
Some joy, some warmth, some light, some community, some gathering together, some feasting.
Yeah.
And so the Christians did their Christmas thing. The Jews came along. They needed their Hanukkah thing.
They needed a festival.
We got the Kwanzaa thing.
Sure. Everybody needs a festival.
Everybody needs a festival.
This time of year.
And we, atheists and humanists and all of us, we're not going to be left out, Dan. We're not going to be left out. How dare they not think of us?
Well,
with a holiday, Dan.
They're thinking of themselves.
I know. So we have to stake out our own.
It's up to us to think of us.
So we've got ourselves some human light.
Okay. I mean, yeah. Okay, look. So human light was invented by some humanists back in 2001.
So it's old,
according to Wikipedia,
ancient holiday.
But I mean, you can do a solstice celebration if you want to. Lots of people do.
People do.
Matter of fact, I was recently, just on a whim, I went to the local witchery. The local, there's a store in Salt Lake City called Crone's Hollow.
I don't really.
Yeah.
Where is that?
They moved, so they're on Main Street and around about 39th South.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, they sell your all of your witching supplies.
Good.
Your tarot decks, your various resins for making potions.
Right.
Literally, none of that's made up. Also, figurines of like White Walkers from Game of Thrones. Not sure how that comes into it, but it's all part of
the same thing.
And candles that are giant penises. Okay, so whatever you need.
Why not, Dan?
Whatever you need.
It makes sense
for your own personal witching.
Right.
But boy, do they have some solstice things to celebrate.
Yeah.
They're getting ready. They had a tree lighting and whatever.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Anyway, but yeah, you can celebrate human light, and I encourage you to do so if you want to. There aren't many traditions associated with it yet, so come up with your own.
We'll come up with something.
Sure.
Surely, Dan.
Sure, we can. Yeah, let's come up with a thing right now. We're not going to do the feats of strength because Festivus already has that.
No.
And also because the people who celebrate human light, I don't imagine that there's a lot of like hardcore like gym rats.
I think maybe like
I think of nerds is what I think of.
Yeah, I know.
Like us. I'm not saying that derisively. You and I are nerds. But I think of
well, you could sit around and play some fun games.
Sure.
Right?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking it's a Scrabble crowd.
Scrabble, Boggle.
Yeah.
You could have like a crossword puzzle tournament.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. We're going to do it. Puzzles, yeah.
Oh, like actual like jigsaw puzzle, putting jigsaw puzzles together.
Jigsaw puzzle.
I love that.
Everybody does.
Everybody loves a jigsaw puzzle.
Did you see the thing recently? Sorry, I'm going to go on this tangent because it's so delightful. Some guy realized that there are several the same die cut will be used to punch out the puzzle pieces for different puzzles.
Oh, that makes sense.
And so he started mixing and matching them and putting them together, like using this part of this puzzle and this part. And he made some really cool creations. You guys should Google it. He made some really fun things, and it's really interesting to see how they can sort of meet up and whatever. Anyway.
So they don't redesign the puzzle every single time.
No, those bastards.
If you were like really good with like your like good like spatial like memory, you could just like see that shape and be like, oh, that goes there, that goes there.
You just start memorizing all of the puzzle pieces that look exactly the same, and you memorize
if you're a Rain Man,
the tiny differences. Yeah, exactly. You could do that.
You could,
but don't. Anyway, that's something you could do on a cold winter's night.
Right. Okay.
There's all of these things that you could do. But there's also, I wanted to talk about the issue of we have families, most of us, and many of us have families that still celebrate them other religious holidays.
Yeah. Even if just in a secular way.
Yeah.
It's important. So, you know what? Christmas, if you grew up celebrating Christmas for even just a nominal Christian connection of some kind, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's just a cultural thing. There's nothing wrong with putting up a tree and
here's the thing.
Having unlike that Scroogey principle.
Yeah.
Well, put out a little, who cares about Santa? Just put out Santa.
Yeah, the truth is that we hear atheists and non-believers complain about how Christians didn't invent this stuff. These were all pagan rituals. The tree came directly out of paganism and blah, blah, blah and stuff. Well, great. Take it back.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You can do all of those things. Anything that you thought was fun growing up, do it.
Yeah.
I think that that's the key.
So essentially, Christmas is a war on solstice.
It's a war on solstice. That's what we need to talk about. The war on solstice.
The war on solstice.
The Christians they won that war. Let's just be honest. They won.
They won. They've won all the major battles.
I mean, all we've got now.
There's this scrappy group of rebels.
A ragtag rebel alliance trying to bring back solstice. You and I are officially nominating ourselves as generals.
We're the first
in the rebel. I don't think
we're on the vanguard.
I don't think we can call ourselves the first, but
what? But fighting to take back solstice,
take back
official.
That's right.
Yeah,
takes Christmas back from solstice. You guys can have your Saint Nicholas. You guys can have your Jesus. We don't need any manger scenes.
I don't need Jesus.
We don't need any of that stuff.
That shit's all bullshit.
Yeah, but we're gonna take back the candles. We're going to take back the tree.
The tree, definitely.
That's ours. What else are we going to take? I don't know what else. Giving gifts? Is that ours?
That's ours.
That's ours.
That's totally ours.
What other mass do you celebrate that involves giving gifts? You don't.
You don't.
So shut up. That's ours.
A big feast.
A big feast.
That's ours.
I mean,
they can have a dinner. It's fine.
They can have a dinner.
But they can't have a feast. I refuse.
Right.
And I want a feast, Dan. I want a fucking ridiculous giant. I want to be gnawing on giant legs.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly.
Right? That's the kind of feast I'm talking about. Yes.
We're doing hand food. Solstice
and chalices
of mead and grog. We're doing it.
I think it's a wonderful idea. Could I perhaps maybe just get some mulled wine?
You can yes, a happily mulled wine,
fine? Mead.
Okay, yeah,
grog.
I like a good grog. A grog is like a mulled wine.
What about gruit?
I don't know gruit.
It's like pre-beer for European, like because beer already existed.
It's got to be. It's got to be.
They
hot.
were making this weird shit.
I want hot. Is it hot?
No.
No. We're gonna mull us some wine. We're gonna grog it up. We're gonna do some. We're gonna do some wassail.
Please, yeah.
Some nice hot wassail, as I grew up calling it.
Yeah.
And we are going to have some No, you know what? Krampus, is that ours or is that theirs? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't want Krampus.
I kind of like Krampus.
Krampus is fine.
Is it Krampus your style?
No, it's fine. It's not cozy, right?
Sure.
And I want cozy. I want those little spinny things, the candle and the little propellers.
Sure.
I want that shit. I want snow globes.
Those usually have like angels on them. We're gonna have to figure out how to do this. We're gonna have We're gonna have to iconography this whole.
They don't have to have angels
setup.
They could have great figures of science. You could have,
stupid, so dumb. You've got
Darwin.
Darwin. Maybe Dawkins is flying around, dinging a bell. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What do we top our trees with? How are we going to ornament our trees?
They don't need a topper. I like trees without toppers.
Yeah, I think so. But if you really need one, a star works.
A star.
They do
it's
not.
A little Christian-y, but they don't own.
The
celestial realm.
Here's the thing. It's not Christian-y because I've read their book and I know what a star guiding you to a specific address. Mm-hmm. That's not how stars do. Stars don't work that way.
I don't know.
You tell me the star that's going to guide me to a specific manger in a specific town, and I will tell you that is not a star.
It shone upon
that, my friends, is a drone.
Grotto.
There is a drone hovering, and you can only see it from about, even the brightest one. Maybe you're going to get a 10-mile radius out of that thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Dan.
That's not... So stars are ours. I'm taking back the star.
Okay, we can have stars.
# take back the stars.
You could do stars and planets.
Yeah.
All over that damn thing.
A stars and planets tree? That's an amazing idea.
Because you have the balls.
Yeah.
So you can have planets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Stars and planets, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then
nebulae.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, you do some if you want tinsel, call it a nebula.
Oh,
boom, baby!
But in clusters, not just evenly spread out.
Nope,
glob that shit on.
We're gonna do it's a whole universe theme.
I love it
of a tree,
and then you can have little Star Trek Enterprises. You can,
and I know we've got listeners with Star Trek ornaments. I would be surprised to hear if we didn't have people in our immediate friend group who didn't have Star Trek tree ornaments. You and I know
of one person who probably does.
Yeah.
With no question.
I'm almost surprised you don't have that.
I don't flaunt Star Trek.
You hide it.
No, I don't hide it. I'm more than willing to share my...
Get a tree, and you get that up
I'm
there.
not getting a tree, Dan.
Get a fucking tree,
I'm not
Frank.
getting a tree. We talked about putting a tree on the balcony, and that's just stupid. There's no room.
Yeah, we don't want a tree either. But I do love this. If you're getting a tree, and go knock yourself out, get the tree. That's ours. Remember, that's one of ours.
Right.
So get yourself a tree. But this universe idea is great.
Yeah.
I think we overdo it sometimes as a movement because we don't know what symbols to glom onto.
Right.
So we tend to do the science thing pretty fucking hard.
Yeah.
And that gets a little wearying to me. All of the molecules and whatever, but great. Go ahead. Science. I mean, it is something that ties us together. It's actually something that works as opposed to all of the magic out there that is just pretend.
Right.
But I do love the idea of a universe, of a tree that's just representing the universe. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the big revelation from this. I'm sure people have done it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you know what? Email us. Send us your trees. Send us your universe trees.
Yeah.
I want to see this shit.
Yeah.
If it's from this year, great. If it's from years past, great. I want to see it. And we'll even throw some of them up on the Facebook page or something.
Yeah.
So send those in. But yeah, I love that. But in the end, celebrate something.
Celebrate.
all of you Australian listeners that can do your white wine in the sun thing, I am jealous. Yeah. I kind of want to go down there during this time of year. You know what? It's time for you to have us out for your local atheist convention. Frank and Dan will come out and we'll speak to you. We need out of Salt Lake City air. For
well, if nothing else.
If nothing else,
yeah.
It's Beijing out here. But yeah, you know, it is a time where a celebration is in order. So go and do it.
Yeah.
And take whatever you want.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Everything that you find fun about the season. I don't do a lot of the things, but everything that you find fun, don't feel guilty about it. Yeah. A lot of former believers feel guilty about doing Christmas or whatever. Do it. It's yours.
Yeah, go nuts.
Have some fun.
It doesn't matter.
Make a fruitcake. None of it belongs to them.
Right.
You can appropriate liberally.
Right. I mean, dropkick baby Jesus, but aside from that, there's really nothing else.
It's all good. Yeah. Even if you have a nativity scene, a creche that you love, throw it up. I don't care.
Well, I mean, if you're putting Santa Claus somewhere, you might as well put baby Jesus because they're both just as real.
Right.
Right.
Well, I mean, there may have been a historical Jesus. He was not born in some manger.
And there was a Saint Nick.
Yes, indeed. I believe the Bishop of Constantinople. I think he was Turkish.
It's possible.
The Bishop of Turkey, I think, is who St. Nicholas was.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But
you know what? I'm Googling it. You're
anyway,
questioning me.
Why don't we just end the show?
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Okay.
'Tis time.
So if you have any questions or comments about how you celebrate the holiday season, write into us. podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Indeed. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click on that like button.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group, but we will let you in. Also check us out on Reddit. The subreddit is TGI Atheist.
Yes, indeed. Hey, we got some. Thanks so much. Speaking of our Facebook page, to our intrepid social media guru Mackenzie for all of her hard work on Facebook, and thanks also to Danny and Sarah for their continuing service as moderators on the Members Only Lounge.
And a big thanks goes out to the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their music, and to Gordon Johnston for the use of his music.
Yes, indeed. And thanks again to all of our donors. Don't forget, 20% of our money for this month goes to the FFRF, so get on that. And thank all of y'all for tuning in. We sure do appreciate it.
Bye now.
Goodbye.
Human light shines so bright on this cold winter's night.
Oh wow, a three-way.
Yeah,
that was an AAA rhyme scheme. Great.
It's hard to maintain that throughout the whole song.
Yeah, you don't want to. It's a bad idea to maintain that throughout the whole song.
I like flying my kite on human light night.
As it takes flight, it looks all right.
And I feel quite
a lot of spite. All right.
It's not trite, Dan.